So, welcome everyone. Today's session is the topic is a fearless life, and I'm Monica from livinglight.in. Some of you have been attending the previous sessions, so you know, but yeah, those of us who are joining for the first time, you can have a look at our work on livinglight.in website. So, today, the topic that I've picked up for exploration, actually, a kind of an investigation, is fear or fearlessness. And I would be needing a lot of inputs from all of you because it's a collective dissection, so that we can really see how it happens in our lives and how it can be understood, how we can go about it. Just like any other topic, depression, desire, any other topic that confronts us in day-to-day life. So fear is no other. Fear is just one of those things that we all face. And for those of us who are joining today, I would like to invite you to share, why are we here? Why are you here today? Who wants a fearless life, and why? Why do I want a fearless life? What will I do with it? What is wrong with the present life that I am living? So just a few reflections on those uh, would be really welcome. Either you can unmute yourself and share, or share in the chat window, then I can read it out. Yeah. Who wants a fearless life, and why must we crave for fearless life? What is fear? How does fear uh, meet me in day-to-day life? What is my relationship with it? Any thoughts on these points?
I think I can go. This is Taru.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, whenever I find myself doing something new or, something unexpected happens or there's some uncertainty, I feel that there's some kind of discomfort or fear or anxiety. It's as if, that life is supposed to be just like it's going. Like there shouldn't be any change or
Mm.
uncertainty. But, I can obviously see that change is the part of life, right? It's like either very obvious or it's like subtle, right? Like we see our bodies changing from, say, when we were born and now. So earlier it's more visible in the younger years and then it's not. So change is something that we can't avoid, and fear is something that always comes when anything that you're used to appears to be changing, even if it's changing for the better, right? Like even
Yeah.
if say somebody is moving from a small house to a mansion, they'll say I'm anxious, kind of, because
Mm.
everything brings with itself, new challenges and change again. So again and again, I don't know, whenever I think of the word fear, the word
Mm.
change or uncertainty always comes at me. And in addition to that, I would say that you asked, like, why is fear not okay? Somehow it just takes the fun out of things, and
Mm.
it's, can stop me from doing things that I can stop if I allow it to, doing things that I want or like or make me happy.
Mm.
And it makes me kind of feel small, kind of,
Mm.
as if that it's like somebody big is standing on my head and saying, stop, kind of sit in this boundary, don't get up, telling me what to do. So I feel it takes away from my freedom, kind of being,
Mm.
it just not doesn't let me be. It tries to make me walk on a straight line, and I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes us limited. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Just
Am I
yes.
audible?
Yes. Yes. Please, Yashoji.
So for me, fear is very paralyzing. I feel that any movement forward is hampered by fear, and whatever little introspection I've been able to do has brought forth that fear emanates from insecurity. So yeah, so basically it's uh, want to get rid of that because I know that it is hampering my being.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, so just I'll read a few comments. Yashoji shared, and also on the chat window, all aspects of my being want to be fearless. I'm fearful of losing my loved ones, Himanshi shares. Preethaji shares, so many of our choices are ruled by fear. We cannot make authentic choices this way. Ritu is sharing, fear is my inhibitions due to some previous conditioning, stops me from adventures and exploration of new things in life. Beautiful. Himanshi shares, fear limits me. Beautiful. Any more thoughts?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Uh, so I like to share what is happening practically in my day-to-day life because of fear,
Yeah.
which I'm slowly trying to come out. I'm slowly succeeding also. Uh, so basically, I'm doing my research PhD, which is generally funded by the government for 5 years. When you exceed 5 years, then you have to stand on your own financial support. And I have a family too. I already crossed 5 years, and it's been nearly 7.5 years, and I'm not sure when I'm going to finish. So there is an urge to finish it quickly and move to the next stage to earn myself. So in this process, what is happening is, as Taru shared, when there is uncertainty, it causes a lot of fear. It is to the extent that when I talk to my PhD supervisor, there is always a part of me which is constantly watching because of this fear, whether he is giving any extra load of work that will extend this period which I already expect. Say for example, I guess that it will be 4 more months, but there is a part constantly gauging, measuring whether he is giving any work which will extend this period beyond 4 months. So there is always a constant fear in day-to-day life because of this. When personal work comes, then I expected 4 months, but if because of this it will delay by 2 more weeks. So it is not even allowing me to accept this uncertainty. So I want to finish by 4 months or 5 months, which I measure. And when there is an extra load, then obviously it causes a lot of disturbances, and
Yeah.
and I'm unable to handle that situation. So
Yeah.
slowly I'm trying to come out of that. Yeah, this is how it is. Fear is influencing and affecting my life now.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Anyone else? What all fear makes us do in our day-to-day lives, it rules, it overpowers. Okay, so if there's no more sharing at the moment, just come up again whenever you have something to share. So whatever you shared, all of us, whatever we shared, there's one thing which is coming out from this, that there is one part in me, there is an entity in me which is fearful, which is limited, which has a boundary, which has a comfort zone, which has an image about itself. There is an entity in me, which is a very limited, caged entity, and very insecure also. Anything can harm from anywhere, very insecure. Yet, there is another entity in also me, which wants to cross boundaries, which wants to explore further horizons, which wants to be fearless. which does not want to be limited. And both are me. I have to take full responsibility. I have to actually own this package that I am. And at any one instance of time, can I see which entity am I fueling? Because that will run my life, that will rule my life. There is no one else who is giving fuel or power to these entities. Nothing is happening from the external situations, because the same house change, if it may be fearful for one person, it will not be fearful for another person. So house change is not an issue. My relationship with the house change is an issue. So can I be observant? Can I be investigative to this? That when fear comes and the image fear shows to me, in that very moment, what entity am I feeding? Because I will be feeding something or the other, that is for sure. But hota kya hai, what happens is that in urgency, in emergent situations, we are not able to be that observant because we are so lax and lazy in day-to-day life. We don't observe our lives. We don't observe our inner movements. Right? So if I am in day-to-day life, if I'm not observant of my inner movements, outer movements, then in the moment of fear, I will fail to be observant. The movement of fear happens only when I am unobservant. Because if I'm an observing one, then the moment something like fear, which I label it as fear, comes, I will take it as an experiment. But no, the entity in me which is limited, which lives in its comfort zones, which is always insecure, that is most of the time ruling my life. So when another experiment comes in my life, label it as fear or desire or depression, anything else, I'm taken up really by a surprise. Oh my God, what is happening? What is happening? Because this entity only wants to preserve itself. It feels so insecure all the time that everything in this universe is a threat to this entity. But at the same time, parallelly, can I also see that there is a part in me which is an explorer? There is a part in me which wants to really look at life and live life fully. And that is why when anything limiting happens in my life, I don't feel nice about it. Why? Because I am limitless by nature. Now, because owing to the fact that I am living a constricted and narrow life, propelled by this little entity who is so insecure, I feel uneasy. And this uneasiness is a very auspicious signal for those of us who are able to sense it in their daily lives. It's a very auspicious signal, this uneasiness. This just tells me that there is still alive that entity in me which wants to spread its wings out. It is not dead. It becomes dead. We see so many people around us. The spark has been lost. It's like, as good as a dead body living a life. Because they did not care to listen to this inner feeble voice that wants to tell them to expand their wings. So there is something in me which is fearful. And at parallelly, there is something in me which wants to have fearlessness, which wants to overcome fear. Now, how is overcoming possible? It is not possible without an intimate understanding of whatever I want to understand. a very intimate understanding, like a friend. So it may appear really paradoxical, but we have to make fear a friend. We have to go really close to the fear. And who can go really close to the fear? So when I am walking towards fear, wanting to have a cup of coffee with fear, who am I in that moment? Am I the fearful one? Or am I something which wants to understand fear? Who am I in that moment? When I'm walking close to fear, I keep the fearful one aside. Because a fearful one can never have a conversation with fear. Only a one which is open, somebody who is open in me to understand what is this coming up again and again in my life. Does it have any message to share with me? So a fearful one will never be able to meet fear. You can be sure about it. We all can be sure about it. If I am afraid of dogs, I'll never be able to understand dogs intimately. And if I have a willingness to understand dogs, then I will have to keep my fear in my pocket and walk towards a dog, maybe with a friend who knows dogs well, for whom a dog is not fearful creature, right? So we give ourselves a chance. We think that we know fear, but we do not understand fear. Because had we understood fear, the fear will sublimate, because it will just give the message that it has to give us. So if I am operating from the one who is fearful inside me, I will never be able to understand fear. We can be sure about it. We will have to give a chance to the one in us who wants to understand life, who wants to understand what this fear is. What is the message it wants to give me? So that propulsion will have to, the first step will have to be mine. No one else can take that step for me. And when I go close to fear, to understand, to unravel fear, in that very moment, I am not a limited fellow. I have moved out of my limitation. Now let it come, whether it's fear, depression, desire. Here I have a warrior who is ready to meet everything that comes. Because everything in this life has a message. It is there for a purpose. Fear has a purpose. It's not there without any reason. What does fear tell us? Share a few thoughts about it. What are the lines that fear tells you? When fear goes on in my being, in my head, in my emotions, what are the things it says to you? Yes, Imanshi. Yeah. So can we share a bit on what are the things which fear shares in our head, in our feelings, when it tries to scare us? What are the sentences, if you can put it in sentences? What is it that it threatens? Okay. So Taru shares, fear says you are not enough. The way you are not enough. That is the message fear gives. You won't be able to handle this or that. So it's, if I can say, fear is grounding me, right? I may be high up in the air. So fear is telling me, hey, you don't feel capable, boy, right? So it is grounding, because we do get arrogant from time to time. We have this air about us. So fear is just coming as a grounding. I don't think you are capable of it. We can can we just take it as a message? Okay, and then I have feet on my ground and begin again a new journey from there. Yes, Shruti shares, it won't change. No one is there for you. You will suffer. No one will understand you. You are alone. You will always be hurt. This is what fear shares. Fear shares that it will just be like this, as miserable as it is right now. It will be like this. So if you want to make a change, make it right now. That is the implicit message that it wants to give me. Yes, health concerns, that you will suffer. You deserve this. Fear is sharing, you deserve this. It signals that you cannot live in your comfort zone always. Yes, beautiful signal, isn't it? It is sharing, hey, I will destroy you sooner or later. I am standing next to you. I will destroy you. Actually, the signal that fear wants to give us, it's actually a factual signal. Everything that is material in nature, sooner or later, it has to be destroyed. Can we see that? All the relationships I have, all my loved ones that I have in my life, my body, my family, my office, my job, the money, all that the fear threatens. My own self, as if I consider as myself as the body, my own self, sooner or later, it has to go away. So it is a fact that fear is telling me. Fear is stopping my growth and I'm not able to explore my potential fully. One life God has given and I'm not ready to take things head on due to fear, Ritu shares. So what is fear trying to tell me? Fear is coming and it is telling me, babe, you are not going to be here forever. You are not going to be here. I will come and just snatch you away. Yes, yes. So Himanshi is sharing, either you come out of your comfort zone or you will be bullied by me. I'll be bullying you because I am standing next. Death is not far away. Insecurity is not far away. It's a part of life. Yes, Taru is sharing, don't rock the boat. The boat will break. You have never been in the water directly. You have always been protected. There is so much uncertainty. So fear is saying, oh, there is so much uncertainty. Be scared. And I think it is very good that it tells us. It is very beautiful that fear tells us, be scared. Kabir has shared, डर करनी डर परम गुरु डर पारस डर सार डरते रहे सो उबरे गाफिल खाई मार. Now this is something really revelatory that Kabir is sharing. I will just translate it. Kabir is sharing that if you make fear as your guru, as your master, only that person will rise, all else will be wiped away. Why would Kabir say that? So there are two kinds of fear. One is a fear of little things. My family, my loved ones, these are all little in existence. For us, they may be big. They are actually very little. My own life, right? This little, cares about my kid, my office, my job, my money, my family. These are all little cares. So Kabir is sharing, if you really want to have fear, have the fear of the biggest sort. What is that biggest fear that Kabir wants to have? Actually, it is good for us to have that fear. That fear is the fear of having a worthless human life. The fear of wasting this human life by being away from the treasure that we all have been granted with. Because time is running fast. We don't have much time. You are, we may be in our 30, 40, 50s. We think we or have still 20, 30 years to live. We don't know. whether those 20-30 years are there. So you better get scared today than later, but don't get scared of the little things. They may just wait. Get scared of the biggest thing, and that is, do not waste your time in doing all the things which are irrelevant while you know what is relevant and to be followed today in your life. This is the fear that Kabir says we must have. I don't want to waste my single moment of this life in things which are not worth running after. I want to run after the biggest goal, because then I will be called a martyr. Not that it will give me another, label on my shoulder. Not like that. When the freedom fight was happening in India, they were young kids who were fighting their life out for the freedom of the country. That's a life worth lived, not in the little sanctuary, my comfort zone. Because there we cannot be happy. We all know that. We all know that we cannot be happy in our comfort zones. We all have tasted that. Who is stopping me today to get out of my comfort zone and take the biggest challenge that fear warns me about? Dive into uncertainty. That is the biggest challenge. Put a little tilak of, put a little tika of the dirt from the ground and dive into uncertainty. So that I can say, when the Yama comes, when the Lord of Death comes, I can say, I have lived fully. But can we say that right now? We are so pitiful. We are so limited at the moment. And the fear is good, because it comes and tells us there is something wrong. It's good that it comes. Otherwise, we'll be just basking around in our inertias. So fear is nothing but a kind of a push, a poke, like a friend, to get out of my inertia of my limited zone and plunge into the uncertainty. Who knows there is an unfolding that is awaiting for me? Can I give life a chance? Can I give discomfort a chance? Because it is discomforting for the little entity in me. And one also has to realize that from time to time, we keep on forming boundaries. One has to be very vigilant at this. One boundary breaks, another forms. Another breaks, another one forms. Can we be very, very vigilant to this? And it's good that fear comes because it shows me my aukat. It's good that it comes. It challenges me. Now, what am I fueling? I will have to be very, very aware. What am I fueling? Because I am the one who is feeding either the explorer in me or the fearful one in me. Who do I feed? Can I become more observant to that? Because fear wants to make something new in my life. It wants to reveal something new in my life. But that little entity will never be open to newness, because newness is discomfort again. So if I say no to the uncertainty, if I say no to the changes in my life, who am I saying yes to? The little entity. So who is responsible for making me feel small? Not fear. My own feeding the little entity. Because for some people, when fear comes, it can actually bring a new opening in life, or it can bring a new limitlessness in life. Those ones who are ready to read the message. And when I am reading the message of fear, when I'm going close to the fear, am I the fearful one? I cannot be. one baby step has been taken. And this is why, these sessions are called exploration. Can I allow myself to explore? The little entity will never want to explore. Even if it will explore in a very limited domain. एक घर का दूसरा घर, दूसरे घर का चलो आर्किटेक्चर चेंज कर दिया, तीसरा घर, very limited, as Taru was sharing, like a linear domain. Ego will only allow me to go into a linear domain. It will not be able to possible for me to explore the exponential domains or different dimensions. Left it to the ego, the little entity. Yes, Shruti is sharing, because fear is here to tell us as a strict teacher what is our reality, what is our potential. We are limitless, but then we forget it. Yes, we forget it. So that is why a lot of stress has been given by masters and teachers on remembrance. Hanuman had to be reminded that he could fly. We also need to be reminded that yes, we can live a limitless life. We don't have to go by the norms of the society. Feel free to face all the discord. Feel free to face all the discomfort. Let it come. And so that when the Lord of Death is here right next to you, you will not say, oh, give me a moment more. I want to live a little more. You will say, yes, a life worth lived. And he might wonder, what shall I take from this fellow? He does not have even 1% of, vitality left. He has lived it out fully. And that's why Kabir says, if you really want to die today, then later. Die to all that is limited about you. Die to your old boundaries. Die to your past. Each moment, keep dying. Because when each moment we keep dying, we are reliving. We are newborn each moment. Can I do that? Can I allow myself to do that? Because it needs a lot of courage. It needs a lot of shamelessness. Because I may have done something really ugly yesterday. And if I want to die to that, I needs a lot of shamelessness. Yes, I did that. I have learned my lesson. I'm ready to move on. That is a fearless life. Nothing can stop me from moving on. Do I want to do that with my life? Because it's a beautiful experiment. Yes, yes. So Taru is sharing that I'm giving this example of death, but she has often seen that it does not seem too real. Death appears very not real to most of us. We see it's far away. Maybe it just happens to people who are in the newspaper dying. How to acknowledge its existence, how to accept that death is real. See, when fear comes, that brings a message of death, right? So when fear is saying that this is going to change, it is telling me about the death of the present circumstance. Or if I am in misery, then fear is warning me that you will all forever remain in this misery, right? So that is again my death. So just we have to actually closely look at death also. Is death merely bodily death? Am I not as good as dead right now? Look at ourselves. Look at our own conditions. Because when I'm not allowing the life spark to live it out, when I'm not allowing the limitlessness to shine through, the exploration to happen, am I not as good as dead? Am I not as good as dead? What is life full about me? What is full of life about me? A tree is full of life. It is changing every moment. Leaves are shedding, the new ants are coming up on the tree. It is changing, full of change, full of aliveness. But a piece of log cut from the roots and the branches, that cannot be called alive. It is stationary. It cannot move, it cannot change, it may just decay. That is what happens to us when we lose the life spark. We don't listen to what is being called. There is an inner voice that calls up again and again. It tells me what is the right thing to do. But in my fear, I don't listen to it. I fuel my fear. I make my fear bigger and bigger. And in that, the inner voice becomes feeble and feeble, and I slowly decay. I become deader and deader. Right? So I am my own Yama. This is the image that comes to me. I am responsible for the death of my own spark. Because in fueling the little entity within me, in fueling the fear, I am away from the treasure within, which mystics have warned us that this is to be done in this human life. It's a precious human life. Yes, so Shruti is sharing, death is also letting the old self go. Beautiful. Yes, Shruti. But do we do that? Do we do that? Let us come to the facts. Yes. Yes, I'm not letting death happen. I'm clinging to the old. I want to hold on to the old within me, right? I'm not letting the old die, not letting new or flow to happen. Beautiful. So here, it's so beautiful. Then the so-called death of my old patterns, isn't it that beautiful? That is so beautiful that I'm letting the old patterns die because I'm opening myself to newer horizons. So then death also doesn't appear fearful. So what is to be afraid of? If I can live that way, if I can allow that to happen. And I can be actually sure, we can be sure that we will keep on meeting fear. It's not that, after one enlightenment in my life, one awakening in my life, fear will be gone. It is not possible. As long as we have human life, fear of some or the other sort is here to stay. We can be really factual about that. Now, knowing that fear is here to stay, can I just keep it in my pocket and live life? I'll share a little story which happened with my child a few years ago. So we were going to the metro station, and he got stuck by the doors of the metro where you put the token, they shut and open. So he got stuck by that. That hit really hard on his head. And the next time that we were going to the metro station, he got reminded of that incident. And I was talking to him and I said, yes, this happened. Yes, this happened the last time. But can we kind of, maybe find a new way? Keep the fear in the pocket. Yes, I am fearful. The fear is there. The past did happen with me. And maybe when I go to the metro station this time, maybe I find a new way out to go through that the door. And we did that, and without me pushing him or coaxing him to anything, he found a new way to cross the door, because at that time the tickets were not taken for him. He was too young. And that was, I still remember the joy on his face. It's not that he was not fearful, but he allowed himself to explore even with fear. Yes, I am limited. And along with that limitedness, can I still allow myself to be limitless? Or owning myself fully, like a complete package. Yes, I am ugly. But can I allow myself to be beautiful at times? Yes, I am good. And I am allowing myself to be bad at times, because that feels right. Can I allow myself to be beautiful at times? Yes, I am ugly, but can I allow myself to be beautiful at times? Yes, I am good, and I am allowing myself to be bad at times, because that feels right. Can I allow myself to be bad at times? Because that feels right. Can I allow myself to be beautiful at times? Yes, I am good, and I am allowing myself to be bad at times, because that feels right. Can I allow myself to be beautiful at times? Yes, I am ugly, but can I allow myself to be beautiful at times? Yes, I am good, and I am allowing myself to be bad at times, because that feels right. Can I allow myself to be beautiful at times? Yes, I am ugly, but can I allow myself to be beautiful at times? Yes, I am good, and I am allowing myself to be bad at times, because that feels right. Can I allow myself to be beautiful at times? Yes, I am ugly, but can I allow myself to be beautiful at times? Yes, I am good, and I am allowing myself to be bad at times, because that feels right. Can we do that? Can I allow this beautiful unfolding to happen in life? Not limiting myself by any image of any sort. Neither am I good, nor am I bad. At times I fear, but at times I am able to overcome that. I keep fear in my pocket. Yes, fear is there. I don't say that I have overcome fear. Yeah, it is there. But I am also there. Whenever a new symptom comes to my body, I do feel that old primitive evolutionary fear in my body. Yes, I do that. I feel that fear. I feel a trembling in my body. But I know that I'm just not this trembling of the body. Can I allow myself to be all? And then I would not to be, I would not need to be defined by either a fearless creature or a fearful creature. Can I redefine myself? And death, change, it is all here. It may not appear real to me. It's okay. It's okay. It doesn't appear real to me. Fine. Then I'll have to wait for maybe a tragedy to happen so that it appears so real. And that tragedy may appear as a tragedy when we look socially, but the universe is doing me a big blessing when it makes death more real for me. Because if I don't know death, I cannot know life. If I don't know life, I cannot know death. They go hand in hand. Those freedom fighters, really the young ones, when they were going out, did they not know that they can die any moment? And that is why they were full of vitality. Yes, we can die any moment, and we will do what is right in this moment for us to do. And that is the very reason we should do. We should not waste our time, and we should do what is right in this moment. Are we doing that? Because in theory, all of us know what is right, what is to be followed. Are we actually making it our reality? That yes, we know death is to happen. It may happen 10 years, 20 years, or tomorrow. Can I pick up that little baby step which I know is right for me? How do I know what is right for me? That which brings closer me to peace. That brings me closer to peace. That is the right step. Anything that expands me, that makes me limitless, anything that makes me more still, anything that make me more peaceful, it can be any action. I can be sure that that is the right action for me in this very moment. One little step at this moment, that is enough. And that where one little step is taken, that little step, if it is the right step in the right direction, it will guide me to the next right step, and the next right step, and the next right step. So baby steps are fine. I don't have to visualize the whole life that I am going to live. I just have to visualize the next step. Is that so difficult? Yes, Shruti, funeral are really a great help. They wake us up to reality. Yes. If I'm not fearful, imagine that if I do not go to a funeral, or the funeral or a death does not shake me up, I will keep on extending my misery forever. I will say, abhi to bahut time pada hai, too much time is left. I can extend this misery. But the moment I know that no, I don't have much time, this friend has went away, I can go any moment. So can I attend which is really worth attending? Because I don't want to waste any time. Can I allow myself to wake up through that friend's funeral? Otherwise, that friend's funeral is a waste again. It's a waste. The universe was wanting to signal me to something. I again wasted it. Kabir has said, जो उगे सो हाथ में, जो फूले सो कुमलाए, जो चुने सो ढही पड़े, जन्मे सो मरी जाए. Whatever is born is this in this existence is here to die. The moment we are born, we sign a contract with death. But we just distract ourselves from facing this reality. जो उगे वो आ थमे, जो उगा है वो आ थमेगा ही थमेगा. So can I, because I know that I am not going to stay forever in the body that I have, can I attend to all that is worth attending? Because otherwise I'll be just wasting this precious life. Masters, mystics, saints have all warned, do the precious most thing with this human life. The human life is very precious. Can we listen to them? We listen to everything. We listen to Bollywood, Hollywood, the books. Can we also listen to that? What is this preciousness that they want me to, discover? यह जीव आया दूर से, जाना है बहु दूर, बिच के बासे बस गया, काल रहा सिर पर. So Kabir is saying, you have come from far away and you have to go really far. The evolution of the consciousness. Where have you got settled, guy? You got settled. Bloody shake up. Wake up. So fear is here to shake us up. It is doing a very, very friendly thing to us. Because left to our inertia, we'll be always settled here in our misery. Thank God for depressions and all kind of passions and fears. They come to shake us up. Bloody, you don't have any time. What are you engaged in? यह जीव आया दूर से, जाना है बहु दूर, बिच के बासे बस गया, काल रहा सिर पर. Kal is referring to death, yam. That change is certain. The body is here to die. So can you use your life to the utmost purpose that for which it was born? Can we discover this understanding about life? Because then, when I am in understanding, when I am moving closer and closer to each and every movement of my life, say it may be fear, in that moment, there is a state of timelessness. I am not bound by time. In understanding, I am not bound by time. That limited entity who wants to maintain its boundary is bound by time. But when I begin to live a life of more and more clarity, more and more truth, each moment is an eternal movement. Each moment takes me beyond time. I live it deeply, I live it widely, I live it fully. Whether it may be going through fear, whether it may be going through a desire. But if I go through a desire intimately, not the desire living itself out of me, not like that, but intimately understanding the desire. What does this desire want to tell me? What is this here for? Understanding the nature of my own movements. Then some magic happens and I am taken into a timelessness. Then I don't care whether this life ends right now or takes a few more years. Then I'm not wanting to preserve this little entity inside me. That is a life worth lived. Bring it on. Bring it on. I am ready to learn through all the garbage that appears as garbage in my life. That is a life worth, Sina thok ke. Not in any arrogance. This is not arrogance. This is like, I love you, universe. Just bring it on. Can I do that? Can we do that? Because it's only me who can do that. No one else will be able to do it for me. I am the biggest obstacle in my life, and I am the one who can make it happen. So far, if I have been, blocking my life, it is nobody else but me. The moment I find enough capability, enough strength in myself, yes, I can do this. Who is there to stop me? Ram mile thane kaun hatke, Kabir says. No, jisko Ram mil gaye, the moment you get Ram, the moment you get closer and closer to this inner light, inner guidance, who on earth can stop you? Can I choose this way of life also? Because for now, I have chosen another way of life. But can I experiment? Can I do something new with this life? Because I will be in the newspaper, God knows when. And I want to live it fully. And when I'm saying living it fully, it does not mean that I, become a consumerist and want to hog myself up with things and stuff. We have all done that. But that doesn't appear like a life. Life is, when I'm on the streets, when I'm out of my four walls of the mind. And even then, I'm alive and kicking. I have no certainty of the future. And yet, so strong a faith that no matter what happens, I will be fine. I may have a disease again. I may lose loved ones, but I am going to be fine. I may lose my own self, but I am going to be fine. That kind of a certitude. Before that, fearlessness doesn't come. Taking it all in our stride, becoming so wide, embracive as space. That is a true wideness, a true suppleness of life, a true flexibility. अच्छा इधर मोड़ रही है, चल इधर भी कुछ निकाल लेंगे. अच्छा घर से बेदखल कर दिया, प्रॉपर्टी से निकाल दिया, ओके ये भी कर लेंगे. बच्चे ने मुंह मोड़ लिया, कोई बात नहीं. All is allowed. Because I am not defined by my circumstances. I refuse to be allowed by I refuse to be defined by my circumstances. Then a fearless life, a fearless exploration of life can begin. And what joy it is, no matter I have 1 day or 2 days, that will be a life worth lived. Like this, like menial creatures, even if I have 80 years to live, that will be a misery to live. I don't want such a life. Say no to your miseries. Say no to the rasa of depression. Say no to the depressive limitedness of character. And say yes to an exploration. We are the ones who have to say yes, and we are the one who has to say no. No one else is going to come up and do it for me. Right? Ritu is sharing, is the feeling of timelessness possible? Ritu, I will ask you, have you spent really moments of close intimacy? Really close intimacy. It can be with your own self, or it can be with a loved one. Really close intimacy where the time does not matter. As if the time is hanging on, waiting for this moment to complete itself. I have been there. We all have been there. And that is where we say we have experienced the moment deeply, widely, like vertically in depths and horizontally in wideness and in heights. So you discover for yourself that being in time is timelessness possible. If it is possible for one of us, it can be done by all of us. But one thing is for sure, if I keep on fueling that limited entity within me that wants to maintain its boundary, that wants to maintain its comfort zones, that entity will be always afraid of time. Because time means change. that entity will never be able to feel timelessness. There is something within me only that is timeless. And there is something within me only that is limited by time. I am both of them, yet not both. Such an exploration. Beyond time and timelessness am I. We are so powerful that we are scared. What will we do with so much of power? We are so, so powerful. And that is why it's very, very urgent. It's very important for all of us to find the true path in this life, a true path for our own self. It may be different for each one of us, but the path has to be true, because truth is beautiful and truth is what unites us with our true self. So we have to let go of all the dishonesties one by one, that no, I don't want to fuel these dishonesties anymore. I want to be just completely vulnerable, naked. Enough of holding on to my disguises. I have to make the choice. Yes. And another thing, that comes to me at this point, we may think that I'm very fearful and I'm very fearful and the universe scares me. The stronger my ego, the stronger the sense of fear that I feel. You can be really sure about it. We can be really sure about it. The stronger the sense of I-ness about my own self. Me, my life, my little identity. The stronger the sense of I-ness, the stronger I will be in the grip of fear. Don't think that if I have a lot of fear, I am the little me. I am the victim me. Victim ego is the biggest ego because it does not even portray itself as ego. It wants to say that, I am the little one, I am scared. And it's such a big disguise for the ego. So be very, very careful that if if few of us, we try to kind of belittle ourselves, I am this little one, the little me, and the world is so scary. It is the biggest form of ego that one can have. Ego means a limited entity. I am limiting my own self in that victimhood. Nobody else is the jailer. I am the jailer and I am the jail. Yes. And the more I live in images about me, that I am good, I am bad, I am little, the more I live in images about me, I will be forever away from the true myself. How? Now imagine that you are going to meet a person. You want to go and meet a person over a coffee or chai or nothing. And some friends have told you certain images about that person. Now you go to this meeting and all the images that your friend shared about that person are hovering around in your mind. Will you ever be able to meet that person? Or you will be meeting the images of that person, right? We will never be able to meet that person in its totality. So if I have images about myself and I keep on protecting those images and living through those images, that I am good, so I must behave in this and this way. I am good in cooking, so I must behave. I am a good mother, I must behave in this and this way. If we keep on protecting on those images, I will be forever away from my truth. Because truth is limitless. Truth does not have any images about itself. So do I want to have images about myself, or do I want to have a naked, raw, wounded, yet alive life? What do I want? What do I want? We often feel afraid of our own near ones. We feel afraid of them. And it's really strange if we look at the origin of fear, how it penetrates us when we talk about these relationships that we fear. The same person who you fear today, years ago, he or she gave you a sense of, hey, you are something. He gave you a sense of self-worth. He praised you. He said, you mean something to me, right? Like, if I put you on a high pedestal, you would not question, oh yes, Monica, you are giving me a high pedestal. How kind of you, how generous of you. So when these people, when they enter our life in their own ignorance, obviously we all are doing these things out of our own ignorance. When I praise you, when I make something really big out of you in my life, that you are the most important person in my life, I put you on a high pedestal, which is just a virtual reality. And I buy that. I buy that image because we are all conditioned in our process of conditioning. We become, like, I am not enough. I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. So if somebody is making me feel worthy, he must be saying something right. I feel good about myself. You look at how flattered we become when somebody praises us. How flattered we become. So when we become flattered, we are allowing that person to raise my ground high. Now it's a matter of time. That person may also, now I'm also giving the power to the same person, that he can also shatter me down the moment he says, oh, you have changed. You've become really bad in time. So because I bought that years ago, that you are so good, you are so beautiful, I will also be compelled to buy this when he shares that you are not good anymore, you are not worthy anymore. This is how fear enters our life. We put our sense of self-worth in other people's hand. We get so elated when someone praises us. And in that, we open the door to our shattering, because the sense of worth, self-worth, has been placed somewhere outside. Yeah? Yes. So Yashoji is asking, what is that within us that makes us feel unworthy and thus require validation from outside? Yashoji, have you looked at the newborn, when a child is born, even an infant, a toddler, they are full in themselves. We are not born with this feeling of unworthiness. We are not born with this. We are born, we may have past sanskaras, tendencies that may come up again later. But as a parent, as caregivers, what we do to our children, we put into them a sense of false incompletion. What do we say? Do this, else you are not good enough. Have a job, settle down, else you are not good enough. Please your parents, else there is something wrong with you. Earn money, earn marks in your life. Appease your parents, be good to your relatives, else there is something wrong with you. This is how, like a poison, we put inadequacy in the newborns. That has been put in our own self also. And all our life, as if I take it for so real कि भैया अगर मम्मी पापा ने बोला है, if mom and dad have said something is unworthy about me, it must be right. I must try to fill up this sense of inadequacy. There must be something wrong with me. And all my life, I run around to fill up this mirage of inadequacy. And because the fact that it is a mirage, it never gets filled up. Never ever. I buy a new house, I get a good job, I get good clothes, maybe a beautiful relationship. maybe a couple of kids. That void of inadequacy never gets filled up. Why? Because it's an illusory void. It does not exist. It can never be filled up. Anything which does not even exist, a hole, a crater, bloody, it does not even exist. Can it be filled up? And the whole life is spent in feeling worthy because I want to get rid of this sense of unworthiness. Can I question this sense of unworthiness itself, the origin of all that bhasad? Can I question that? Have I ever questioned that sense of unworthiness? I see that I am a complete package. Yes, I have mistakes, but I can correct those. I am imperfect, but I can choose to, kind of work on those. Can I own myself fully, all in my perfections and imperfections? Because I am beyond both of those. Neither am I worthy, nor am I unworthy. And then who on earth wants to be worthy? So why would I need your praise? Why would I need your praise when I don't even have any problem with the sense of unworthiness? I don't, it's like a spider or an ant roaming around in your house. A person who is afraid of spiders will be bothered by that spider too much. But a person who has better stuff to do in that room, he will say, okay, let the spider be there. So if I have something really right to give my life to, would I bother about that sense of unworthiness? Yes, let it be there. I don't want to fill it up. It's there. It doesn't bother me now. I'm fine. It is okay to be unworthy. The very fact that I am not okay with my unworthiness wants me to crave for the worthiness which is false, which is people oriented. People give me that worthiness. And if people and the world is giving me this worthiness, you can be sure it can be taken away any moment of your life. And hence I live perpetually in this fear of, oh my God, I may lose my sense of my worthiness. Just declare that I don't either want to be worthy or I want neither to be unworthy. I want to be truthful to myself. That is what matters. That declaration is very important. Like a sankalp. It does not bother me to feel unworthy because I am beyond that unworthiness. I know who I am. I am the closest person to myself. Who would know me better than me? Yes, I am full of imperfections and insecurities. I will overcome them in time. Own yourself fully, and then nobody else can can own you. Take full charge, full responsibility of yourself so that nobody else needs to be responsible for me. And then this looks really little, this looks like, oh, I am left all alone. I have to be responsible for myself. But no, in that aloneness, you are not alone. In that aloneness, the mightiest power that exists in this universe is with us. Can we give it a chance? Can we give it a chance? Because if I don't give it a chance, I have no chance. Nothing can give it a chance if I myself shy away from it. And the very fact is that the more I knowingly shy away from my truth, the more I knowingly shy away from what is right, I make that right inside me more and more feeble. It's like a little inner voice. It directs me, it guides me. The more I become friendly with it, the more it guides me, the more strength I give it to it. to the voice. But the more knowingly I shy away from the voice, what happens? The voice gets shyer and shyer, shyer and shyer. And I'm not able to listen it carefully. It dies. It dies in me. It gets soaked up by layers of garbage because I'm not ready to pay attention to it. So do we want our own inner light to die, or do we want to own it fully and to live what is directly under its guidance? What do we want? You may say that there is some other fate maker, or there is some other person who decides our destinies. I am deciding my destiny right now. Who do I want to give power to? The truth inside me, the inner voice inside me, who knows what is right and what is to be done, no matter how courageous it may sound, or the society. And society is equivalent to ego. Ego thrives on society, right? What do I want to do? I am the master of my destiny. Yes, circumstances are not in my control, but my attitude is in my control. My exploration, my willingness to understand this life is in my control. Can I take charge of that? So there is a conscious choice to be made each and every moment of my life. And that makes us really alive. It's not that I once make a choice and after 10 moments I have to be just lazy about it and I don't need to make another choice. The battery has to be recharged again and again. And for me, I think personally, if I look at it, it's a beautiful life then. Because I don't know what is to happen. It's an adventurous life. Don't we love adventures? Who wants a monotonous life? I don't want it. Every day is a new day. I don't know. Something new is revealed about myself through each and every movement. Who on earth does not want newness in life? We do want newness in life. We crave for newness in life. That's why we go out shopping for new clothes, maybe a new relationship, maybe a new travel destination. We all want to have newness in life. Can we have the utter newness in life? Being close to our inner truth, letting it guide us, letting us come in front, letting all the patterns break if they have to. Because that guidance knows the best. I don't know what is the best for me. The guidance knows the best. Just like we do dusting, we remove layers of dust. If we are cleaning a house after a long time, we clean it and then something shines forth. So can I allow that inner guidance to shine forth and lead life just like Krishna led Arjuna's life when he allowed him to do that? Arjun had to allow Krishna to guide. Krishna was not forceful in his assertions. He just said what he had to say when Arjun allowed him to do so. Arjun said, "Mere bas ki nahi hai. Please you guide." Yes? Yes. So Ramkumar ji is sharing, does it mean that there won't be any reaction inside us when someone praises or degrades us? Ramkumar ji, it is context to context. If I am more observant to my inner movements, I will see my ego rising, something in me rising up in the air the moment I listen to a praise. Yes, Shruti, yeah, bye-bye. Right? So something in me will waver. Just observe that, just enjoy that movement. The moment somebody said, "Oh, what a point," and what a glide that I got into the air. Can I just look it at funnily also? Right? And if someone is degrading me, then I'm also observing parallelly. Oh, look at he's saying and how pitiful am I feeling? What is this funny game going on inside me? Right? can I allow that observation of those movements to happen? Because it is fun. It is fun. It is actually a divine comedy, if we begin to look at it closely. What a comedy goes on inside us. So there is no fixed formula. If you ask me that there won't be any reaction inside us, I don't want to comment on that. There is no fixed formula. One thing I can say is just be observant to your inner movements. It will be fun. I personally laugh about when I observe those movements inside me. It's actually fun. Don't you have some fun? Want to have some fun in life? So just in that sense, right? Not saying that one should have kind of a reaction, or a particular reaction is better than other. Not like that. Yeah. Just observing the whole game that goes on outside and inside, because I know I have nothing to lose. I have nothing to lose because I have nothing to gain. See, if I am feeling that I am unworthy, then I have something to lose, because the moment you say I am unworthy, I lost it, right? But the moment I say that I may be unworthy or worthy, I don't want to be either here or there, then I have nothing to lose. चाह मिटी चिंता मिटी मनवा बेपरवाह, जिनको कुछ नहीं चाहिए वो शाहन के शाह. Kabir says, now when I don't want anything, only then I become the king. Who doesn't want to be the king? Have the power. Can we reclaim our power back? Right? जिन ढूंढा तिन पाया गहरे पानी पैठ, मैं बपुरा बूढ़न डरा रहा किनारे बैठ. So Kabir says that those who wanted to find the treasure that I talk of, the truth, those who wanted to found in the deepest depths, gehre pani pat, being intimate with all the movements of our lives, not being scared away, being closer and closer even to the scare. जिन ढूंढा तिन पाइया गहरे पानी पैठ, मैं बपुरा बूढ़न डरा रहा किनारे बैठ. And I, foolish fellow, what did I do? I kept sitting on the shore. I never took a deep plunge, and I never found it. So if we want to have a true fear, we should be fearful of, we are actually in all this game of limitedness. We have lost what actually cannot be lost, our true treasure. We are away from our truest treasure in all this game of limitedness. That is what we should be scared of, that I don't have much time. Let me use this life to what is right, what to me appears right and truthful to do in this life, that is worth doing in this life. Yeah. Yes. Going closer and closer, closer and closer, closer even to fear. And all the movements, all the so-called ugly movements in my life that I call as ugly, dark, not worth looking at, go close to all that. Then it's a white life worth lived. And then I would not be scared, whether I'm going to go away right next moment. It's a life worth lived. Yeah. So I think I have said enough. Any comments? Any questions? Yes. Okay, in that case, I would say thank you for joining, if not any concerns or questions. And thank you really for taking out time This is a time that you give to your own self. You're valuing yourself. You know what is right for you, because clarity is important for all of us. And if we are giving time to clarity, this is what is called as loving oneself. You're valuing your time. Not that only this can be the value, many other things can be valuable. But I really appreciate all of you taking out time for your own self and wanting to explore together, to discuss and delve together. Yes, thank you so much for joining in.